The Minnesota Vikings have been active in free agency, but they still have not addressed the other safety opposite of Harrison Smith. And sure, Patrick Peterson might ultimately be that dude, but if they want to try him out as cornerback first, could certainly help out picking someone up in free agency at that safety spot. Vikings had some interest in Keanu Neal and Anthony Harris, but didn't work out. Enter one Will Parks, formerly of the Broncos, the Eagles, and the Broncos again. Ben Goessling Strib tweeted out, Anthony Harris off to Philadelphia, blah, 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 blah. The Vikings have been in contact with Will Parks about coming to Minnesota, but they're also tight against the cap at the moment. And now, Will Parks is a name that will sound familiar because the Vikings, we have a history of wanting Will Parks and it not working out. 2016 sixth-round pick out of Arizona, go Wildcats. Played his first 4 seasons with the Broncos. Gary Kubiak was head coach when they initially drafted him, 2016. Vikings have had interest in Parks before. 2020 free agency, they showed interest, but he ultimately signed a 1-year, $1.5 million deal with the Eagles. Then at the trade deadline, the Vikings had some interest in swapping for him after he was injured at the beginning of the season. But the Broncos, his former team, had waiver priority on the Vikings after the Eagles ultimately released him, and then they snagged him. Last year, Parks had 31 total tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 1 sack. Overall, 57.5 PFF grade, 77.3 versus the run. And he's primarily a box/slot safety. He's a smaller version of J-Ron Curse, or like a diet Andrew Sendejo, if you want to picture that. Now, I know what you're thinking. By God, he could have went to the Vikings last time around, but he chose the Eagles. Well, a couple things at play here. Number one, Philly is his hometown. And number two, he obviously saw more opportunity in Philadelphia, whose secondary was straight trash, versus the Vikings, where you had Harrison Smith and Anthony Harris firmly entrenched. Harris was playing on the franchise tag last season. But now, it's different. It's way different. You still have Harrison Smith, yes, but there is massive opportunity here with the Vikings. And even if Patrick Peterson moonlights at safety a bit, stylistically, they're not going to overlap. Patrick Peterson is not about that tackling life, so he'd be much more of a free safety, Parks down the box or in the slot, and there would be a chance for him to get on the field, maybe not as a starter on paper, but still soak up 500, 600 defensive snaps. Even if the Vikings bring in a safety day 3, which they should, I think that Parks could be a factor in the Vikings secondary this year. Cap-wise, Vikings currently have $10.185 million effective, but remember, 7.9 of that is Rudy after June 1st. So actual cap space is about 2.2, which would still be playing to sign Parks, who signed, remember, last year for $1.5 million, and maybe a low-level offensive lineman, Forrest Lamp, depending on how the cap is structured. Or Parks could be a guy that the Vikings just wait and sign until after the draft, after June 1st, when that cap space becomes available, because he's likely not going to have a huge market, and there's not going to be any rush to sign him. But overall, I do like Parks. I think that you can see why the Vikings have been chasing him for going on 2 years now, and I think that he would add a nice dynamic to that defensive backfield. So I say get it done. If it's a league minimum deal, all the better. Let's get that thing going. But your thoughts, Vikings, Will Parks, interest, let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work, post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skull, production value.